This is a song for Lennon on tape bow violin, and it's called Ethics is the Aesthetics of the Future.
Ethics is the aesthetics of the few. Ethics is the aesthetics of the few. Of the few. Of the few. Ethics is the aesthetics of the few. Sure.
This is a song for a man and a woman who can't agree on exactly what it is.
She said it looks, doesn't look, it sure looks a lot like rain. She said, doesn't it look a lot like rain?
He said, isn't it just like a woman? Isn't it just like a woman? Isn't it just like a woman?
Like rain. She said, it's hard, it's just hard, it's just kind of hard to say. It's just kind of hard to say.
He said, isn't it just like a woman? Isn't it just like a woman?
Hard to say,
Like a woman,
hard to say.
like a woman.
It's just hard to say.
Like a woman.
She said, it goes that way. That's the way it goes. She said, it goes that way.
He said, isn't it just like a woman? Isn't it just like a woman?
That way,
Like a woman,
it goes
like a woman.
that way.
Isn't it just like a woman?
She said, it goes that way. She said, it takes one to. She said, it takes one to know. She said, it takes one to know one.
He said, isn't it just like a woman? Isn't it just like a woman?
She said, it takes one to know one. She said, it takes one to know one. She said, it takes one to know one. She said it to know one. She said it to know one.
This is a song for a man I met on the Bowery, and he was wearing very old, ragged clothes, but also a pair of bright white, new socks, and no shoes. Instead of shoes, he had two wooden planks. that he was standing on, two pieces of wood. And as he moved along the street, he would bend down, move one of the pieces of wood and step on it, then bend down and move the other piece of wood and step on it. He was going very slowly. The man leaned out from the liquor store and said, that's just Eddie. That's the way he gets along." The second verse is for the Eskimos who live above the timberline. And there's no wood there, so they don't have runners for their sleds. And instead, they use long, frozen fish, which they strap to the bottoms of their sleds and slip across the snow. And this is a song called "Use What You've Got to Get Where You're Going." Use what you've got to get along the way, because it's a long way. It's such a long way. This is an audio tape called New York Social Life, and it's for voice, tambura, and telephone.
Well, I was lying in bed one morning trying to think of a really good reason to get up, and the phone rang, and it was Jerry, and she said,
Hey, hi! How are you? What's going on? How's your work going?
"Oh, fine, just waking up, but it's fine. It's going okay. How's yours?"
Oh, a lot of work, I'm trying to make some money, too. Listen, I gotta get back to it. Just thought I'd call to see how you are.
I said, "Yeah, we really should get together next week, have lunch and talk," and then she says,
Yeah, I'll be in touch. Okay.
"Okay,
Listen, take care.
take it easy."
See you soon.
bye-bye.
Bye now.
And I get up, and the phone rings again, and it's a man from Cleveland, and he says,
Hey, hi. How are you? Listen, I'm doing a performance series, and I'd like you to do something in it. You know, you can make a little money. I don't know how I feel about your work, you know. It's not really my style, kind of trite. But listen, it's just my opinion. Don't take it personally. So listen, I'll be in town next week. I gotta go now, but I'll give you a call. We'll have lunch. We can discuss a few things.
I hang up, and it rings again, and I don't answer it, and I go out for a walk. They drop in at the gallery, and they say, hey, hi, how are you? Fine, you know, how's your work going? Okay, you know, it's just not like it was in the 60s. Those were the days. There's just no money around now. You know, survive, produce, stick it out. It's a jungle out there, so just keep working. And the phone rings, and she says, oh, excuse me, will you?
Well, hi. How are you? How's your work? Good. Well, stick it out. It's not the 60s, you know. Listen, I gotta go now. Yeah, lunch would be great. Next week? Yeah, great. Very busy now, but next week would be fine. Okay, bye now.
And I go to Magoo's for a bite, and I see Frank. And I go over to his table, and I say, hey, Frank, hi, how are you? How's your work? Good. Okay, yeah, mine's okay, too. You know, I'm broke, you know, but working. Listen, I gotta go. Okay, listen, we should really get together. Why don't you drop by sometime? Yeah, that'd be great. Listen, take care. Take it easy. I'll see you. I'll call you. Bye-bye. Bye now. And I go to a party, and everyone's sitting around wearing these party hats, and it's really awkward, and no one can think of anything to say, so we all move around fast. And it's, hi, how are you? Hey, listen, where have you been? Nice to see you. Sorry I didn't make your performance last week. Listen, we should really get together next week. You know, I'll call you. I'll see you. Okay, bye-bye. And I go home, and the phone rings, and it's Alan, and he says,
hey, hi. Listen, I'm going to have a show on cable TV, and it's going to be about loneliness. You know, people in the city who, for whatever sociological, psychological, philosophical reasons, just can't seem to communicate. You know, the gap. You know, it'll be a talk show, and people will phone in, but we will say at the beginning of each program, listen, don't call in with your personal problems, because we don't want to hear them.
and I'm going to sleep, and it rings again, and it's Mary, and she says,
Hey, Laurie. Hi, how are you? Listen, just called to say hi, and don't worry, listen, just keep working. I gotta go now. I know it's late, but we should really get together next week. And listen, Laurie, if you want to talk, I'll leave my answering machine on, and just give me a ring anytime.
I'd like to do some songs for the tape bow violin. This is an instrument designed by Bob Bilecki, and it has an audio head mounted on the body of the instrument. And instead of horsehair on the bow, there's a long strip of audio tape. And in working with this instrument, I've discovered that as words go forwards, they also go backwards, and found out that whole plays had been written that way in the early 20th century in palindromes. Words that go backwards as well as forwards. A lot of them were plays about the creation, and phrases like "Madam, I am Adam" were in them. Some of the phrases were rather strained to get the system to work. Adam is, in speaking of Eve, at one point turns to the audience and says, Eve is a sieve, which of course is reversible, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And when Adam takes the fig leaf off, at another point he says, a daffodil I doff. And so this first tape bow is called E Que Pasa Juanita, and I found that inflections in one language are reversed in another, so some of them are bilingual bows, because Chinese and Spanish have a different sound to them. They go up at the end and down where English does. So this is E Que Pasa Juanita.
What do you know? Juanita. What do you know? Juanita. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
The next two songs are Dutch proverbs.
Spreewerps. 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 Spreekwerps. Spreekwerps. Spreken met twee tongen.
And another proverb.
Hey, 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 no, grunt, no, grunt, no, finish, Hey, in the mouth, ground in the ground.
And this is a song called When the Cat's Away.
De muizen op tafel. Langs de muizen op tafel. Dansen de muizen op tafel. Dus dansen de muizen op tafel.
A song called Hurry.
Goede bier. Goede bier.
No one see me.
No. One. No. One. No. One. No. One. No. One. No. Sneeze.
See me. See me. See me. See me.
No. Four. No. One. No. One. No. One. Up. No. Sneeze.
And the last one, I'm become, might be done.
Moest uit de kaf. Moest uit de kaf. That's a whisper I become, whisper that's I become, mark it out, 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 I become, mark it out. Het onderste uit de kan halen.
two, three, four. One day you wake up and realize, oh, you didn't mean what you said. You may want to take it back, but the words here to stay. Say what you mean, don't lose track. Words are strong and once they're gone you can't take them back. So no matter what you do or say, say what you mean and mean what you say. Oh, 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 you may be right, you may be wrong, you may be weak, you may be strong, but you will pay, you will pay. If you don't mean what you say, get the last word, the first one too, but make sure that you mean it and that it is true. 'Cause it never sounds the same, never the same, by the time it gets back to you. Whoa, 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 you may have meant to be mean. You may have meant to be nice. If you didn't say it right, then you should just go home. Say what you want, say what you will, but say what you mean and then go home. No matter what you do or say, say what you mean and mean what you say.
This is a song called A Man, a Woman, a House, and a Tree. And each phrase of the song is derived from the slow scan picture of each image. So that man sounds like this. A couple of months ago, I met a man in Canada. He was making very big and very red paintings. They were taking up so much space in his place that he was getting crowded out. Didn't have any room for his bed or his kitchen or anything. And I asked him, why are you making these paintings so big and so red? And he said, well, nature abhors a vacuum. voice had a familiar ring to it, but under the circumstances seemed kind of absurd. And I've noticed that when people I like say things like that, total cliches, you've seen one, you've seen them all, that if I really like the person, I hear the cliche as if for the first time it has a certain resonance to it. Find myself saying, how true, how true. Depends on who you're talking to. First verse. Mother, can I go out to swim? Of course, my darling daughter. Hang your clothes on a hickory stick, but don't go near the water. Second verse. There'll be a change in the ocean. There'll be a change in the sea. There'll be a change in the weather. There'll be a change in me. Third verse. Whenever anything bad happened, he always said, "Tut tut, pip pip, chin up. Worse things happen at sea." And this is a lullaby.
Diego used to be a guard at the Museum of Modern Art. He was on the night shift. And his job was to go around the museum and tell people to leave. Or as he put it, snap them out of their art trances. People who'd been standing in front of one thing for hours. He would jump in front of them and snap his fingers. And he'd say, "Time to go. Time to go. Time to go."
A couple of years ago, I spent some time going to see a psychiatrist. I'd get there at 8:30 in the morning, and she'd say, "Good morning, Laurie," and I'd sit down. I never saw her get up from her chair until one day. She had the office set up so that she was sitting in a corner, and on one side of her was a window, and on the other a mirror. She could tell by slight movements of my eyes whether I was looking at her, out the window, or at the mirror. And I looked at the mirror a lot, and one of the things I noticed about it was that on Monday it was perfectly clean, but by Friday it was covered with lip marks. And this was a process I more or less took for granted, never mentioned until one day in passing I said, "Well, it's kind of like the lip marks that appear on your mirror." And she turned and said, "What lip marks?" And I realized that from where she was sitting, because of the way the sun was coming in through the window and hitting the mirror, that she couldn't see them. So I said, "Here, come sit in my chair. You can see them from where I'm sitting." And for the first time, I saw her get up out of her chair. And when she sat down in my chair, she said, "Uh-huh, lip marks." And the next time I saw her was the last time, and she said that she'd found out that her 12-year-old daughter had been coming into the office during the week and kissing the mirror, and that the maid would come in on the weekends and clean it off. And it was then that I realized that we were seeing things from such different points of view, literally, that I would never have to see her again.